So every once in a while, a piece of gear comes along that doesn't just take a small step forward, it takes a giant leap. And that's exactly what we're looking at today. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 4. And believe me, it's a camera that's about to completely change what you think a tiny device can do.
And you know what? Let's just start with a really bold statement, because it gets right to the heart of why this thing is such a game changer. That whole routine, grabbing a memory card, hoping you have enough space, worrying about losing it, it's over. This little camera signals a massive, massive shift for creators. But before we get into all the crazy new possibilities this thing unlocks, we really gotta look at how DJI got here. It seems like they really started by listening and by systematically getting rid of some of the biggest headaches that creators have been putting up with for years. And this right here, this just proves it. It's been an issue for a long time, right? For generations, the Pocket was amazing for video. But if you wanted a half-decent photo, you pretty much had to pull out your phone. It was just a compromise we all kind of learned to live with. Well, until now. And man, what a leap this is. This is not a small bump, folks. We're going from those kind of grainy, barely usable 9-megapixel photos to absolutely massive, detailed 37-megapixel images. And that constant knot in your stomach about a full or a failed SD card, it's just gone. Replaced by 107 gigabytes of storage built right into the camera.
And out in the real world, this really just means one thing: freedom. It's the freedom to just be in the moment, to capture what's happening without fumbling around with these tiny little pieces of plastic. You can actually trust the tool in your hand and focus on the story you're trying to tell.
Okay, but solving old problems, that was just the beginning. With the Pocket 4, DJI wasn't just fixing what was broken, they were aiming for a completely different level. They started packing in features you'd normally only find in cameras that cost thousands and thousands of dollars more. This is it. This is the headline spec that made everybody just stop and stare. 4K resolution at 240 frames per second. That is double the slow motion power of the Pocket 3. It means you can create these incredibly smooth, super dramatic, and honestly truly cinematic slow motion shots from a camera you can literally hide in your hand. 14, what's this number? This number represents 14 stops of dynamic range. Now, in simple terms, that just means the camera can see a ridiculous amount of detail in both the super bright parts of your image, like a sky, and the super dark parts, like deep shadows, and it sees them all at the same time. The result is just a much richer, more film-like picture. And for all of you out there who love to color grade and really craft the look of your videos, this is huge. 10-bit D-Log is a professional color profile. It captures a really flat, neutral image that is just packed with information, giving you total flexibility to push and pull the colors in post-production to get the exact look you're going for. Now, all this new power is backed up by a crazy fast workflow. So you shoot to that internal drive, and then when you're ready to edit, you can offload your files at an insane 800 megabytes per second over a cable, or a still very, very fast 90 megabytes per second wirelessly. That kind of speed is just essential in a professional world where, time is money. So when you add all these features up, they start to paint a totally new picture. The Pocket 4 is kind of shedding its old identity as just a vlogging camera, and it's becoming a serious, serious tool for indie filmmakers and even professional production crews. This is the new role. It's ready to play. You can now confidently put this tiny little camera right next to a huge cinema rig to get those unique angles, and you'll know that the footage has the quality and the data to cut together perfectly. It is a true, legitimate B-cam. And one of the biggest reasons it can be a B-cam is this right here, timecode sync. Now, this is a feature that's usually reserved for super high-end cameras. It's basically a master clock that perfectly syncs up the Pocket 4 with every other camera and audio recorder on set. This saves editors countless hours of that soul-crushing work of trying to manually line up clips. And the way they've done it here is just rock solid. We're talking less than one frame of drift over an entire 8-hour shoot day. That is unbelievably accurate. It means you can just set it, forget it, and have total confidence that all your footage is going to be perfectly in sync when you get back to the edit.
But the pro-level stuff doesn't even stop there. You can output a clean 4K signal for live streaming. The new ActiveTrack 7.0 is smart enough to track multiple things at once with insane precision. And you get new physical controls like a pressure-sensitive joystick and a dedicated zoom toggle, which give you much more of that hands-on, precise control over your shots.
So when you put it all together, the old problems they solved, the new cinematic power they added, and all this pro-level connectivity, what you're left with is a device that doesn't just raise the bar, it basically creates a whole new bar for what a portable camera can be. I mean, just look at this table.
It puts the whole evolution into a really stark perspective. We have literally doubled the slow motion capability and quadrupled the photo detail, all for a tiny 6% increase in weight. And that jump from being chained to external cards to having all this internal storage, that's pretty much an infinite leap in convenience and peace of mind.
So the main takeaway here is actually pretty simple. The line has been completely blurred. What used to be a little gadget for casual video is now a full-blown cinema tool. You get pro-level shots on demand, you never have to think about storage logistics again, and you can finally take incredible photos, all with the exact same device.
And that kind of leaves us with one final, and I think really fascinating question. When creative power of this level becomes this easy to get, this portable, and this simple to use, it doesn't just change the gear that we all carry around. It fundamentally changes who gets to be a filmmaker, and it changes what kinds of stories they're able to tell. The future of filmmaking, well, it just got a whole lot more